Guys, I'm actually doing it. I'm creating a YouTube channel. Oh wow, it's been a long time coming, so let's get into it. End of 2022, I was fired. Yeah. So yeah, guys, I was fired. I haven't openly spoken about this, but I feel like I'm ready to now, and I feel like it's good to share my story because you might relate. If you didn't know, I was a corporate 9 to 5 girlie. I worked in finance, and it wasn't for me. Finance will come and humble you on a month by month basis. If you work in finance, you know month end. Ugh, I don't miss that. When I first started, I was on a 27k salary and I had just graduated from uni. At the time, I needed a job, so it didn't really matter. But they promised me the following year I would be on 30k, which wasn't the case. In fact, I actually had to fight for my salary. I felt like it was an ongoing fight that was just useless, like it was going nowhere. I was doing crazy hours, like some days I would even log off at 12 a.m, which is mad to say. I remember my manager saying to me like, oh, why are you doing those hours? Like she was mad at me for doing those hours, and I said, if I don't do those hours, tomorrow is gonna be hell for me. It was becoming a toxic place to work. I just remember thinking like, oh, I wanna change roles, I wanna change industries completely, but I just didn't know how. I didn't have the courage to just get up and leave, even though I really wanted to. After me trying to negotiate my salary multiple times, they promoted me, but they increased my salary by like £500. That is literally pennies, like that's nothing. My morale was down. I remember them hiring 2 extra people to do the work that I was doing previously, which annoyed me because you could have given me an increase in salary, but instead you wanted to waste more money and hire 2 people to do a job that I was doing on my own. Eventually, I was called into a meeting with HR and head of department. They gave me 2 options. They said, leave, we'll give you money, or you can fight for your place here and stay. And I was like, why would I want to stay and fight for my place here when you guys are not fighting for me? I left. And a week later, I was like, shit, what do I do now? I rushed into another job the following week. I started working in hospitality. Now, this job was jokes. Like, I laughed so much. And it was good to just get out of my head for a bit and just be in a space that was a bit casual and not as serious. However, there was a girl that I met there and she was so mean. Like, I'm not a mean person, but she unlocked something in me that made me become a mean person, and I didn't want to be in that environment. I didn't want to hold all these negative feelings. I left 2 weeks later and I had already booked my trip to Philippines, so I was like, it came at the right time anyway. I needed to leave, so I went to Philippines and then came back and was like, now what? I remember crying a lot of those days, thinking, what is my next step and how am I going to get there? I knew that I wanted to work in music, but I just didn't know how. I didn't know what that would look like. I decided to apply the abundance mindset. I applied to jobs that I had no business applying to. I literally didn't have any experience. All I had was transferable skills and a passion for music.
I'm so tired today. This is the diary of an unemployed babe. I'm getting a latte like my advisor told me to, even though I can't afford one. Well, no, we don't use that language here. Don't.
If there's one thing you must know about me, it's that I'm a trier. I will try and try again because failure isn't an option. My mum passed away when I was 20, so I've had to make it work financially, emotionally, everything, Ali. And I feel like this was the darkest period of my life because 1, I didn't have a job. 2, I was on universal credit, which I was really ashamed to admit. 3, I'm pursuing a career in the creative industry. I never want to call myself broke because I'm not trying to manifest that, but I was broke, and that's the honest truth. Back then, I was lost and knew nothing and knew no one. The only thing I knew how to do was search, and I searched and searched tirelessly on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I just needed to find something that would help me get into the music industry. Although I was broke, I had prayed for times like this where I got to have slow mornings, spend time with my friends, work from anywhere, and just ultimately be intentional with my time.
This is my first industry event. Oh my god, I'm so excited. It's gonna be a few A&R managers there, different labels. It's more like a workshop in songwriting, singing, and production. There's another panel talk and I'm gonna go to that as well. Today is a good day, even though makeup wasn't functioning. I got over it. And also it's raining. I got an umbrella, it's calm. Thought I was gonna be late, but I'm actually here in good time. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Here we
You said the other day? What's the one that's wild, like the what? No.
A lot of people ask me, where do I even look? Like, where do I even begin to find all these opportunities? And when I tell you, I knew no one, I had no connections in music, and so I had to go out and search by myself. Like, I was on Eventbrite, I was on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and anything that I could find on anyone's stories. If I saw anything creative, I would message them and say like, oh my gosh, where is this? I'd love to join, or I'd love to come. And more time, people are very welcoming and want to share experiences. Of course there were gatekeepers, but I never let that stop me, and you should never let it stop you either, because there is an abundance of opportunities for everyone. Not gonna lie, I was so scared to attend these events at first because I didn't know what I brought to the table. I knew I could sing, but I didn't want to be an artist, and I knew that I just wanted to work in music, but honestly, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I felt like I was back at school again with a careers advisor, deciding my fate for the future. But I was 26 and still figuring it out. The more events I went to, the more I realized that people were in similar positions. They also were trying to figure it out. They honestly don't know what they're doing, and we're pretty much freestyling our way through life together. The most important thing is that you try, because God loves a trier. The thing that I enjoyed the most about this process was having the time to discover what I truly wanted to do. If I hadn't had this time, I would probably be in another corporate 9-to-5, not enjoying life, and being upset that I didn't even give myself a chance. By going to these events, I also met people that inspired me to step out of my comfort zone, and that's where I saw the most growth. So if you're starting out, do some research, meet new people, don't be afraid to try new things, because the world is literally your oyster.
What's going on? How many shots did you bring? How many shots
I
did you
brought
bring?
3 shorts. I brought 3 shorts, 3 skirts, 1 dress, 1.
I'm so dumb.
No, I brought another trouser. Yay!
Oh my God.
Dead. 27. We need to reduce. Yes.
You're so cute. If you want to do picnic.
Take 3.
Yeah, this is looking good.
It's actually closing.
It's looking good.
Being on benefits in London is such a humbling experience. Nobody ever talks about the job centre, and honestly, I cried many tears there. It is very traumatizing. It got to a point where I was becoming envious of my friends because they were all living at home, they had the support from their parents, and no one knew what it was like to live without a parent and to not have that financial support. I was in the worst headspace and I cried too much, in fact. So I took myself to church, which I hadn't been to in a long time. I remember hearing, you say you trust God, but your actions say otherwise. And that was when it clicked for me. I kept saying, God, I trust you in my finances, but I was being tight with money. I denied myself many opportunities because I said I didn't have money. These were the times that I heavily had to trust in God. I didn't have much in my account, but I used whatever I had to get to the places that I needed to be at. I knew eventually that this would make sense in the long run. Guys, I even went to Milan and used whatever savings I had left to go on this trip because I had FOMO. This trip really taught me to let go and let God. It taught me to slow down, trust the process, and the importance of a strong support system. The moment I surrendered all my doubts, fears, and anxieties to God, He really came through. This trip was a reminder that I am truly loved and truly supported, and that no opportunity will ever pass me by if it's for me. And for that, I am truly grateful.